gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another big body banger. And today we're going to be checking out a new video from, I believe, a subscriber, actually, and a YouTuber, Lucas Bender. He has a video that he just dropped. It premiered, I want to say, yesterday. Was it yesterday? I want to see. Hold on, wait a minute. Was it yesterday? I'm pretty sure it was yesterday. Yep, it actually premiered yesterday. And it's titled German Political Parties Explained. We did a reaction video earlier today on the German political parties evolution, and now we're going to have these parties explained and whatnot, and see if we can learn something new. If you guys are new to the channel, welcome. If you guys are returning viewers, welcome back. We post videos every single day, and a lot of the content on the channel as of late has been centered around Germany, so that's been pretty cool. Make sure you go subscribe to this gentleman's channel. Link will be in the description down below as always, and let's not waste any time. Let's dive nose deep in this thing and see exactly what we are working with, guys. Let's go. Los geht's.
Who are they? What do they do? And what do people think of them? Well, let's find out.
Lucas Bender, German political parties.
So in total there are dozens of parties in Germany, but for national politics we can focus on just 6. 7 if you're a pedantic know-it-all. And how do we know these 6 are the important ones? Well, they're the only ones with seats in the national parliament. The other ones are either too small to get in or too regional to matter. I'm sorry, Magdeburger Gartenpartei, we're here for the big guys. Just like most democracies on this planet, German politics were once dominated by 2 major parties, one of the broad, more progressive center-left, and one of the broad, more conservative center-right.
Oh, okay. All right, that makes sense. So it'll be like the Democrats and the Republicans, but I feel like they've become way more extreme over the years, to be honest.
But as we shall see, the whole power dynamic has changed quite a bit, especially in recent years when minor parties have become much more relevant and powerful. There will be time codes for all of these, but for now let's start with
Die Sozialdemokratische Partei Deutschlands, SPD.
This is the supposedly big party of the central left.
I like how he changed his shirt color and then the screen in the background. That's clever. All right, that's okay.
It's the oldest party in Germany, emerging from socialist movements of the 1860s before moderating into what it is today.
Oh, dang.
If you're familiar with any of the many Labour parties around the world, like the UK one or the New Zealand one or the Dutch Partij van de Arbeid, you probably have a good idea of the SPD's basic profile. Which is being the party of solidarity.
This is a very well explained, idea of what this party represents. Very, very well explained, very articulate too. Like, English is on point. Goddamn. Okay.
A kind of solidarity that's expressed by a strong welfare state, focusing on the working class as well as overall social and economic justice. Accordingly, their main focus has always been on the blue-collar worker, your coal miner, metal worker, cleaner, hands-on kind of jobs. But these days they're really struggling to keep that aura of the grand old workers' party alive. You might be getting different explanations for why that is, depending on if you're talking to a more left-wing social democrat or a more pragmatic moderate. Those 2 wings of the party tend to clash from time to time. But either way, just know that the SPD was the big left party for decades.
And now it's changing because we have all of these new parties rising from above or rising from below.
Onto their right-wing rival.
Die Christlich-Demokratische Union, CDU.
The CDU is a juggernaut in German politics.
Like I said, I love how he changes his outfit and the screen in the background to the party he's talking about. I'm telling you, it's the little details, man. It's the little details. I like
Most of
that
our
shit.
chancellors have been CDU, which makes them the sort of
old as hell. That's crazy.
Default power party. But just like the SPD, their shine's starting to wear off.
Oh yeah, they're old as hell. Like, they're old. People want something new. What's always been quote unquote working doesn't always work. So
A little. When foreigners hear the name Christian Democratic Union, they often think that it's a sort of hardline religious group, which, let me be clear, it's definitely not. No, they're just sort of culturally Christian, right? So moderately conservative, sort of the more regressive, cautious force, in line with many of the right-wing parties across the continent. Traditionally, they're made up of social Christians, economic liberals, and conservatives. And no, I didn't just come up with these categories. No, the party quite ostentatiously advertises with these 3 pillars of the union.
Oh my god. These cartoon drawings, man, getting dead.
But you won't be wrong just calling them the Conservative Party of Germany.
Yeah, I was gonna say. It seems now that the CDU and the CSU, I thought it was more democratic, but the more I hear about the like the views of this party, and of course the fact that it is blatantly conservative, it does seem a lot more conservative than I led on to believe. I did not realize that. I thought it was like more of like a middle ground party, but I guess the SPD is more like that.
As such, they're most concerned with things like public safety, tradition, frugal spending, things like that. Oh, and overall they're quite moderate, which has won them many elections, but just like with the SPD, there's a growing desire from the more ideological wing of the party to become more unapologetically conservative again.
Oh, God.
Okay, so far so easy, right? Two parties split along the standard Western left-right divide. Okay. And the thing is, we would have almost been stuck with that two-party system if it weren't for
Die Freie Demokratische Partei, FDP.
Yeah, this little guy is always...
Once again, outfit change. Let's go. I like it. We love to see it.
Managed to squeeze in.
It's like, can I fit in?
The word free should have already given away what the Free Democrats stand for. Freedom.
Oh, yeah.
Or if you want to be fancy, we could also call it liberalism.
Liberalism.
How exactly that freedom is defined may vary between the different factions of the party. You know, you've got your social liberals, economic liberals, and national liberals.
Oh, okay. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so this is like your social issues, your money issues, and then like your international relation issues and stuff.
Which is what we call the sort of right-wing libertarian kind of liberal. But really, these differences are minuscule. The important bit is they all agree that the individual should be at the center of all policy. That makes them both very open and progressive in a kind of we shouldn't tell other people how to live stance, as well as very capitalist. Oh. So they're all about lower taxes, decreasing bureaucracy, and competition.
That's cool. That's not bad. I mean, I can get behind that. It seems pretty legit, to be honest. I mean, up the competition, drop the taxes, bureaucracy going down. That seems pretty reasonable to me.
If you are into that sort of politics?
Actually, that was my highest category. That was my highest category when I did the Valamat. So I could totally get behind that.
Chances are that you're from a sort of upper middle class to upper class household. Maybe you're a big shot business person or self-employed, or you founded one of these trendy hipster startups.
Listen. Self-employed is what I have to file my taxes under, and I'm telling you, you do not want to see how hard they tax self-employed people, man. Like that, it is rough. It is rough. I'm not making Bill Gates money, okay? I'm not. I can pay my bills, which is great, but the taxes, dog, I'm not gonna lie. It get kind of crazy. I'm like, it'd be nice if it was a little lower, you know what I'm saying? Crazy.
Or at least that's the sort of person that usually votes for the FDP. Well, that and farmers. Hey. Now, I already mentioned that the FDP was sort of the reason we didn't end up with a two-party system, and I mean that quite literally. There were a few decades when we only had three parties in parliament, the two big ones and then the FDP as the small third option.
Oh my God.
But don't think small equals unimportant. No, that was actually a really comfortable situation for the FDP to be in, because they alone could choose who would rule the country. I mean, obviously not alone, but the success of the FDP always made it so that neither of the big parties could get an outright majority.
Ah, that's cool. So it was like it wouldn't automatically be a total wipeout because you would have the FDP, like, you know, taking some of the votes too. So it watered things down a bit. That's interesting.
And that's how the Liberals earned the rather unflattering title of the Kingmaker, who's only there to break the tie.
Oh my God.
But these days they're really trying to get away from that image by highlighting their tech savviness, for example.
Bündnis 90, die Grünen.
Die Grünen. That's
Next
cool.
up are the Greens, who came in much
the outfit change. I have to acknowledge it every time it happens, but that's very clever.
Later. Like, we're talking the 1980s here. The Greens are actually quite different from all of the other parties, since they grew out of these protest movements from the late 60s to late 70s, who advocated for all sorts of issues like women's rights, anti-war, anti-nuclear power, and obviously environmentalism. And they kept that revolutionary spirit going even after they upgraded to a proper party. Like, look at them.
Oh my God. That is gnarly, dude. That is he looks like, oh my God, dude.
Look how uncomfortable he is.
Yo.
All those high-class politicians suddenly sitting next to literal hippies knitting in parliament. Now, obviously the old parties weren't happy with those green weirdos. I bet they don't even shower, they'd say. But then came a time in which the Liberals firmly placed themselves at the right hand of the Conservatives. suddenly the Labour Party was without a partner.
Uh-oh. They're like, hey, I don't know, man. Gonna Party looking kind of cute.
I think you can see where this is going. Hey, psst. Hey, green guy. I didn't mean what I said about you and not showering.
I like this little animation thing, man. This is nice. This is so good. This is well put together.
You actually smell quite nice.
Like, really? Wirklich?
And thus came to be what's been considered kind of the natural state of German politics ever since, a red-green alliance as counterweight against a liberal-conservative one.
Interesting. So actually the FDP and CDU was my two highest Wahlkampf things, and then yeah, that's insane. That's crazy.
Then the Greens have undergone a sometimes messy evolution with lots of infighting between their more left fundamentalist wing called the Fundis and their more moderate, sometimes even conservative wing, the Realos. However, that division seems to disappear a little since the Greens have grown so much in the recent years. Like, they've become massively popular.
Oh, nice.
At least for the time being. They're still a very explicitly feminist party and fairly interventionist economically, but they try to soften the edges a bit to seem more appealing to a wider audience.
Makes sense.
It's 1989. David Hasselhoff has just torn down the wall. East and West will finally reunite. What a major historical event.
Outfit changed again. Die Linke, let's go.
You'd expect the end of the Cold War to be a pretty big political earthquake, wouldn't you? One that's surely gonna leave its mark on the German party system. But remarkably, it wasn't. The few parties that did emerge from the New East were quickly sucked up by their already existing Western counterparts.
Wow.
Just like basically everything about the East. The only exception is Die Linke, which is the Eastern party.
Oh, wow.
So you might already be aware that East Germany was a dictatorship for 40 years.
Yeah.
It was ruled in this very repressive way by one single party, the Socialist Unity Party, or
Oh, fuck the sup thing.
SED. But
SED, oh shit.
here's the thing, when the wall fell and East Germany finally got some proper democracy, that party was not outlawed. No,
Wow.
it got to continue in the United Germany, but now reduced from a singular, unopposed regime to just one of many contenders in the democratic process.
Damn.
One with minimal success.
Of course, because who the fuck would want to vote that back in the...
Turns out having led a dictatorship doesn't actually sound good on your resume. So in order to rebrand itself, the SED quickly changed its name to PDS,
Whoa, I did not know
the
that.
Party of Democratic Socialism. The old Western parties were, of course, very much opposed to this new party, like even more so than against the Greens. But by
Jesus.
this time, the PDS had already assumed a new role, that of the niche interest party for Eastern Germans.
What? So the PDS, did that eventually become the Der Linke?
Turns out many people from the East were nostalgic, or at least sympathetic to the SED. So even though the Eastern Bloc had collapsed, socialism was very much still on the table. A little detour. What's the difference between socialism and social democracy?
I actually have no idea.
In many countries, the word socialism can mean a whole bunch of things, from public healthcare to abolishing property. And if the word social democracy is even used, it's usually understood to be on the same spectrum as socialism. But I think most Germans would probably cringe at that, since historically we understand those two terms to be different categories.
Yeah. Two sides of the center. Two different sides of the same center, I guess.
Now I know there are a whole bunch of scientific definitions for those words, but I think conventional wisdom in Germany has it that socialism tries to overcome capitalism, whereas social democracy tries to rein in its destructive powers. Again, you might call this just a matter of degree, but here we perceive those two parties to be on different slots of the political spectrum.
Okay, so the Linke and the SPD are more like... well, the Linke, it's literally the left. Like, that's like as far left as you can go, right? So SPD and the Linke are like, you know, SPD is a watered down version of Die Linke.
One of them with considerably more historical baggage.
Yeah.
Just to finish this off, it's actually quite hard for me to see what kinds of factions there are within Die Linke. I mean, obviously there are all sorts of flavors of different doctrinaire socialist beliefs, with most of them belonging to a more settled professional class. But then you do get the occasional nutcase who's still under surveillance of the German intelligence service.
Oh, yeah. This animation stuff is on point, man. I literally, I vibe with this. This is like the best video that was made for this period. Like very, very, very well put
So for
together.
many people, it's kind of a mixed bag. Despite that, there's been a lot of talk recently about including the Linke into the center-left alliance together with the SPD and the Greens. The argument is that we're now 30 years removed from unification and that the old guard has surely given way for a new generation of socialists to emerge who have nothing to do with the old dictatorship.
Yeah.
You know, they just want to advocate for better wages and fighting poverty, but that's still up for debate. Die Linke is still associated with these radical economic proposals as well as a weird pro-Russia stance. So, we'll see.
Very clever, dude. I fucking love this editing. Oh shit, here we go.
Okay, last one. Controversial.
He's like, we already know what the hell going on with this one, man. Let's go, man. Let's go. Far right. The AFD, the far right. Let's hear
Die
it.
Alternative für Deutschland. AfD.
The AfD was founded in 2013 by a bunch of right-wing conservatives who mainly campaigned on getting rid of the euro and returning to Germany's old national
Deutschmark.
currency. Boring? Yes. But no, believe it or not, that was actually quite shocking. Our political parties share a large consensus, so they're all broadly for the European Union, they're all broadly for the same economic system, and they all broadly agree that climate change is really bad.
Aww, that's cool. They all get together, like they get along on most issues, like one big happy family.
Now the
But-
AfD came in to, shake things up a bit. Back then in 2013, I thought the AfD might become the sort of mirror image of Die Linke, where they occupy the same kind of spot in our political scene, just on the opposite side.
Yeah.
One where they criticize the moderate center from a more ideological, populist perspective. That didn't happen. Instead, what happened was that the AfD was quickly taken over by far-right extremists with overt ties to neo-Nazi organizations with just despicably racist, homophobic, revisionist beliefs. The supposedly conservative side of the party has for the most part been on board with this partnership, although some have left out of protest, including the original founder of the party, which
Whoa, what the what?
can never be a good sign.
No.
Yeah, and you can imagine their positions. They stylize themselves as a sort of fighters against SJW culture. They're hard on immigrants. They are the only rescue for a dying Germany.
Oh yeah, that's too extreme, man. That's way too extreme.
And that
All
would
right.
be the good right. Like, maybe the conservatives are too mild. Maybe we did need a more staunchly right-wing party in parliament. But there's this vicious anti-democratic tendency that permeates the entire party.
Oh yeah, it looks like they're on literal demon time. Like they woo, whoa, interesting.
Which is just sad. And yeah, in case you're wondering, the other parties have erected a giant wall between themselves and the AfD.
Yeah, the AFD is literally in its own little bubble, But the thing is, AFD is getting a lot of support, like a lot more support over the years and stuff like that. Like just like you were saying earlier, just because it's small doesn't mean it's insignificant. You know what I mean? Like it can still be a party that can randomly just gain a lot of popularity.
them basically untouchable. Will the AfD actually gain power?
Might.
Like maybe someday, but not now. Like if the Greens or Die Linke have taught us anything, then that with more moderation, you will gain power in Germany. If you don't moderate, you're out.
And they're gonna moderate. Somebody's gonna be smart enough to moderate it and make it sound acceptable for the same, causes and beliefs that they have now. It'll just be more palatable to ingest when you hear the information. So it's like, oh, that doesn't sound too bad. And then once a person from the party is, elected, then maybe at the last minute people might be like, oh, okay, but maybe this was not what we wanted,
Dun dun dun. I'm sorry, I didn't exactly end this on a high note, did I?
No,
I still
really,
hope you
but
had
it was a
fun,
good
and
video.
Hopefully you now understand a little bit more about sort of German politics.
Yes.
Just thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay civil in the comments, like obviously. Don't battle to the death.
Battle to the death. Battle to the death. I want you guys to fight for your parties like your life depended on it. No, I'm kidding.
Just YouTube. And yeah, love yourself. Bye.
That was a very well put together video. Very well thought out, very well explained. And it was explained in such a way that somebody with my retention capabilities, I don't have strong retention capabilities, could understand. So I appreciate it. I absolutely loved it. He did a very good job. Oh my gosh, beautiful. Everybody in the comments down below, let me know what you think about this. Like, comment, subscribe, of course. If there's any other videos you want me to check out, let me know. But this was perfect, exactly what I needed. And I love the little animations, little outfit changes and stuff too. Geil. Well, anyways, I'll see you guys later. Bis später, Leute. Ich liebe euch. Ciao. Well, what a pleasure it is to see all of your beautiful faces at the end of this lovely video. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'm sure you know, as I've mentioned in the past, we do have a Discord that's linked in the description down below, and we would love to have you a part of the world's greatest community ever, Braygang. Yes, if you've made it to this point in the video, you're officially a part of the community. So go ahead, join the Discord server. Link is in the description down below. And we also have other social media as well, like Instagram, Twitter. We're live. We go live on Twitch quite often as well. So it would behoove you to, go ahead and subscribe to the Twitch channel at twitch.tv/JamesBraygang. Join the cause and be a part of the greatest, literally the greatest community ever. Okay, it's simple. Just go ahead and do those little things. We're trying to grow on all these little platforms and everything, and it really means a lot. Now, I know you guys stumbled up across the channel and you're like, what does this guy post? Like, what kind of content does he post? Reactions, vlogs, pretty much whatever comes to my mind. All right, it's random content. I don't know what I'm gonna be posting 10 years from now, but I do know that you can stick along for the journey, and it really means a lot. Now, for every single person that subscribes and follows all of the accounts that I have made, and all the links will be in the description down below, that's an automatic entry for any future giveaways I decide to have. I'll remind you when the giveaways take place, but you'll be surprised what I will be giving away because you guys have supported me so much up to this point, and it's only right that I do the same thing back. Thank you guys so much for being amazing, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Peace.